Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Mouse Ears and Magical Chats. I'm Mary Beth and I'm here with Jess and Jenny. Hey ladies.
Hi.
Hi. So today we are going to travel over to the Animal Kingdom area and we want to talk about Sanaa. Jess and I ate there during our last trip that me and her took. And man, we loved it.
And this was like a last minute ad. So I felt like it was an easy reservation to grab at the last minute and it smacked. And it was so good. It was so good. And we want to talk about it.
I think we were there for a lunchtime, right?
It was a lunch on a Saturday. It was a Saturday afternoon, and this was back in December, like kind of early to mid-December. And the Animal Kingdom park was wild. It just felt really busy. And we did our few things that we wanted to do. And then we were hungry. And we were like, let's see what we can find. And we found a reservation at Sanaa. We were there with our friend Jess. So there were three of us. And we grabbed a pretty immediate reservation and hopped a bus over to the Animal Kingdom Lodge from the Animal Kingdom. From one Animal Kingdom to the Animal Kingdom Lodge. And it was Christmas time. So the other nice thing was that there were lots of decorations. Animal Kingdom is kind of one resort made of two resorts. I don't know if that's the right way to describe it, Jenny. I saw your eyes pop up. But
I'm just looking up the menu for Sanaa right now.
Delicious.
Before we get into that, can you talk about getting that last minute reservation? Because I have a lot of clients who worry that they're going to get to the parks, want to end up sitting down. They don't want to be tied down to a sit down ahead of time, but they worry if they don't book something that there's going to be no options, or they want a certain reservation and can't get to it. And I'm always saying, like, even the day of things open. So can you just like kind of talk a little bit about like that decision leading up to booking such a last minute dining and how that process went, snagging that?
Yeah. On this trip, our loose plan was to try to do Nomad Lounge and do small bites and have a drink and like hang out there because it's really nice. But it was just so busy that the walk-up list filled up. It was closed immediately.
Yeah,
really, really fast. And we didn't like wait for it to open, so it just didn't happen. And so I think we went in the app and just kind of looked to see what our options were. And Sanaa is really yummy and a crowd pleaser. And there were three of us, but it was a Saturday. So those things in my mind kind of even out. You know, I just did this trip with 8 of us, and that it's just harder to get dining reservations for bigger groups. When we're talking about like 8 or 10 people, we book them split up. I don't know if that's how you suggest people do it or how you help people do it.
I usually do, just because that's what I personally do for myself.
Yeah, you travel with a big group. So I'll try to do like a 4 and 4 or whatever the configuration is.
Absolutely.
To overlapping times, if they're not exactly the same, if they're within like 15 or 20 minutes, as long as you check in time for the first one and let them know we have 2 reservations. We'd like to sit near each other, you know, if not at the same table, just like somewhat near each other so everybody can. And that usually works out. For a small group like this, I find you can grab last minute dining reservations like really frequently. And it's easy in the app to just go in and put in your party size and that you want something like right now, and just scroll through and see what there is, and then you can snag it. Now with dining, you can cancel a dining reservation up to 2 hours before your scheduled time. So people will have reservations, or maybe they have a lunch and a dinner, but they want to just sort of see how their day shakes out, and then they let one go before that 2 hour, window hits. So you can grab things that people are releasing. And also in the app, there's an option to join a walk-up list at a lot of the sit-down restaurants. And you have to be kind of close to it to join the walk-up list. It'll tell you like, no, you're too far away because you have your location services on and the app kind of knows where you are in the park, or at the resort. But that's an option too. If you can't get an actual reservation, you can join a walk-up list a lot of times, and it'll tell you. When I was looking at the menu for Sanaa earlier on my phone, it said the walk-up list had about a 55-minute wait for a party my size. It just sort of tells you.
Yep.
And I don't know, I know you change reservations a fair amount in the fall, Mary Beth, when you were with your family because of just plans changing. Like, what was your experience with grab things? Or
generally, I've noticed like things that I want, I can get, because like you said, people are dropping them throughout, so it's easier. And if you know, at least in the area you want to be in, and you have a few options, like it seems pretty easy to do something like we did this. It was easy. I was like, bread service? Yes.
I was going to ask if you got the bread service.
Yeah.
How can you not get the bread service is the question. Yep.
Bread.
So why don't I read what Disney says about the restaurant, and then we'll go into kind of what we ate. So they say family-friendly feast. Savor slow-cooked meats, salads, vegetarian specialties as you discover African cooking with Indian flavors. Step inside the exquisite East African-inspired eatery, which invokes a traditional spice market, decorated with handcrafted wares under the graceful branches of an acacia tree. Is that how you say that? Acacia tree. Start your meal with the Indian-style bread service with 9 accompaniments, from sweet mango chutney to spicy red chili sambal. I'm going to Jess for all of these. She spent some time in Africa. For your entree, select from tender meats and seafood, slow-cooked in gravy such as butter chicken, as well as vegetarian dishes. And then they talk that they have like kids stuff, which includes burgers and pizza, which is nice, because I actually didn't look what they had for kids at the time because we weren't kids, but that's good to know. Then they have smoked African beer from Kenya, and they have a specialty cocktail, the Malawi Mango Margarita.
Oh.
So I loved walking into Sanaa because it feels like you're transported, and I like sitting under the trees. What we didn't get to see, Jenny, is like normally you get to see the animals outside, but they were doing construction, so all the windows were blocked.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
And they did have a warning about that in the app. If that was super important to us, we could have said,
yeah,
leave it for next time.
They'll always have those updates available, so there never should be a surprise when you show up to a restaurant.
Yeah, they said like normally we'd be able to see gazelles, zebras, giraffes, kudu, ostriches, cranes, and more.
Yeah. And if we went at lunchtime, it was a kind of a later afternoon lunch, and the sun is out then. As a reminder, think about sunset, because I booked Sanaa my very first time. I think our very first trip. We ate at Sanaa.
I'm just looking at the menu. It looks so good.
And it was dinner, and I was like, can we sit by a window? And he's like, sure. And it was dark out 5 minutes later, so we didn't see any animals. But so you might want to do like a slightly different time depending on what time of year you're there. Like if you go in the winter, it does
I
get
didn't
dark.
even think about that. But you know, every time I've been to Sanaa, I've literally sat at the table we sat at, which is not near the windows.
Yeah.
So it's never been part of my experience, really, to be able to see all the animals, at least not up close. If you got one of those really cool spots, because there's spots like right next to the window, and you can look out onto the animals, and that looks like it would be an amazing experience.
Yeah. I'll have to go sometime when it's light out and not in construction.
And one of our future guests that are going to be on the podcast did the safari, like a sunset safari, because they do all the tours. So they're going to come on and talk about like the majority of the tours that you can do at Walt Disney World they've done. But one I know that they're going to talk in detail is where you actually go out on the savannah and you eat under like this pavilion right in the middle of the savannah where they go through for Kilimanjaro safaris. which sounds amazing.
That's pretty cool. All right. Let's talk about some of the food then, because Jenny's been checking this out and her mouth's watering.
Looks delicious.
So good.
So Jess, what do we have?
So we started with the bread service. I'm going to move my window over for my eyeballs.
Do you do one bread service for the three of you?
We
Or
did.
do you pay by person for the bread service?
No, it was $22 for what you got. So you got 5 breads, and it says it comes with 9 accompaniments, which is all the different stuff that you can dip into. And it goes from like sweet to spicy.
Spicy's on top. Great. Garlic and ginger, plain butter naan. This is an onion kulcha, and the wheat one is paneer paratha. And then spicy, red chili sambal, jalapeno lime, savory, coriander chutney, pickled garlic, red bell pepper hummus, and tomato date jam. Sweeter, tamarind and mango chutney, cucumber raita, coolslaw sauce. So spicy.
So good. Like, I didn't find one I didn't like.
I don't like coriander chutney. I'm an anti-cilantro gal. But I think that was the main one. They're all good. And the breads, you're getting 5 different, they're like full-size naan. And
Yeah, like the size of my head.
And they're different flavors. So you get plain, there was a garlic ginger, there was an onion, there was a paneer.
So did you try each bread with each accompaniment?
I don't think so.
To try to get all the combinations and rate the combinations.
I think
it's like a probability, right? Like I remember
you would need your own, or you would almost need your own because like by the time you split one naan
There's
into
my next
like third
goal.
Yeah,
One
but then
bread
you're not
service.
going to get anything else because that would be a lot of naan in your belly.
I can eat a lot of bread, and it doesn't even affect me.
Just get bread service and a cocktail.
Just bread, carbs,
Done.
So we shared that, and that was delicious. And we have pictures. There are pictures all over the internet, but we have our own pictures too. And then we all had the pochi. This is the word that I can't pronounce. Pochi. Is that what it is? Pochi inspired?
I thought you said pot something.
Pachi. I looked it up too, guys. I listened to the YouTube how to pronounce this word. I don't know this word, but it's basically like a make your own combination, and you're picking a protein and you're picking a side. So you can pick a seafood curry, butter chicken, braised beef, or pork vindaloo, and then you're choosing one of those.
Vindaloo.
And then you can pick one plant-based side. So there's rajma masala, chickpea wat, that's what Jess got. Skuma wiki, which is the greens. Lentil dal, which I think is what I got. And then scented basmati rice. Oh, we all got scented basmati rice. Sorry. So you get the meat or seafood, the plant-based side, and then rice. You got the rajma masala, I think was it beans?
I did.
Yeah, and Jess got the chickpea wat, and this Jess got lentils. And the lentils, he warned me, were going to be very al dente, like they were a little firmer. And I don't mind that, but I liked the flavor of the chickpea better. I don't remember if I tried the beans, the rajma masala, but I think next time I wouldn't get the lentil dal, but not because the lentils were firm. Just, I like the flavors of the other things better. And I had braised beef, I think.
Yeah, I did too. And then Jess Squared, I think, had chicken. Right?
I think she had the butter chicken.
Yeah.
I had the butter chicken last time I went to Sanaa.
Everything sounds amazing.
It's all so good. It's all so good. And the food quality, I'm a little obsessed with food quality because I feel like sometimes that's like the workaround that restaurants like give you a little lower quality meat to try to save some money and keep their margins. And that is not the case at Sanaa. The food was really like beautifully seasoned and presented really nicely, and also really good quality and good portions. Like I left this place so full.
Mm-hmm.
The dessert is the reason why. The dessert was like ended me.
Now, Jess, I know you've been to Africa quite a bit. How would you compare? Like, do you find it very authentic? The food.
I've been to
Sanaa
East Africa I studied abroad in Kenya. I've been to Tanzania a couple times. I've been back to Kenya. Very much just like a visitor, but the food was great. And I mean, they have Kenyan beer, they have Tusker. You can get Tusker at Animal Kingdom too, I think, at Tusker House and
And the bar outside, I
other
think.
places. Yeah. Tusker's like a pretty like drinkable beer. It's kind of like a, I don't know, Miller Lite or something of beer. Like it's very easy to drink beer. Yeah, and I think the staff, like the cast members who are at Sanaa, there are Africans working there, and you can talk to people. The cast member who was serving us he was not African, but the host was. I think the hostess was. The setting's beautiful. I like the music. Just lots of seasoning. I got to visit Zanzibar on my first trip to Tanzania. And yeah, just like lots of different spices, lots of Indian influence. So that all feels authentic. Sukuma Wiki is like I didn't have theirs because I had enough for a lifetime in my past. But I'm curious. I have a couple friends who are interested in visiting Sanaa who have also had Sukuma Wiki in East Africa itself. And I'm going to see if they end up getting it. We'll run some comparisons. But I love Animal Kingdom Lodge. I did get to talk to a guy from Nairobi last time when we were at Animal Kingdom in January on this last trip. There was a guy out like making bracelets, one of the crafters, and at kind of one of the stalls, like the shops in the Africa part of Animal Kingdom. And his name tag said he was from Nairobi. And I was like, oh, I've been to Nairobi. That was fun. The end. The end. On the safari, when they say twende, that was a word that I used when I studied abroad in 2004, ultimately. And
Dating yourself.
Yeah. Well, I was supposed to go in 2003 and that didn't happen. And anyway, so it was really 2004 that I went. And one of the words that I used a lot when I came home, like one of the Swahili words that I kept in my vocabulary was twende. And then they started using it on safari. I was like, I mean, it's very basic.
Hey, I like it. So I know that the dessert was kind of the end all be all. You want to tell us about this?
This is one of the better life choices we've made.
Yeah, I would agree.
That dessert.
It might be my favorite dessert I've had on property.
It was unbelievable.
Uh-huh.
So we got the Giraffe Tower mousse, which is a banana cake, peanut butter mousse, banana mousse, and caramel with Tanzanian peanut brittle crunch. Holy cow. That thing, I'm pretty sure I licked the plate. It was so good. And it was beautiful. There was like a chocolate tuile, like a beautiful, they don't even describe that on here. But remember there was like this like chocolate.
Yeah, piece that was heating up. And then it had like the giraffe spots. I'll throw up a picture on here so that people can see it. But yeah, from how it was presented to how it tasted, everything was amazing. Obviously, you need to like banana. So if you're not a banana fan, this isn't the one for you. And it looks like they have like some other great stuff. Like they have a flourless chocolate cake. They have a spiced chocolate cake and some black sesame ice cream sundae kind of thing. But this was everything.
It was so good. Giraffe Tower mousse. Do it. Even just the peanut brittle crunch, the Tanzanian peanut brittle crunch, it was in this caramel sauce that clearly they had made, and the peanuts were delicious themselves.
I forgot about the peanuts. Like it was added to it.
So good. So good. The combination of these flavors was beautiful. It was banana. There are two different components that are banana, the banana cake, the banana mousse, but it wasn't like punch you in the face banana. It wasn't.
No.
It was so subtle and nice. And we shared this, the three of us. We did this with 3 spoons. It was $12 and totally worth.
Yeah.
It's too much for one person. If you have feelings about not about finishing it was too much because this was a big meal. This was like our big meal for the day. but share it. It was so good. I want to go back for this dessert. It was so I asked our friend Jess, who is not here on this episode, I was like, we're going to talk about our Sanaa lunch. Do you want to share any insights? And she just said, other than the fact that I still am thinking about that dessert, it's been like almost 2 months now. So it was just so good and a pretty easy reservation to snag. So I tell people, I have a couple of people staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge soon this year, and it is the best food choice, in my opinion. This is like a whole other episode, probably, is like the best food resort, but Animal Kingdom Lodge, quick service is amazing and has some unique choices. You have Sanaa, you have Jiko, you have Boma buffet, which is a really like decent, like I think a great value. The price point for the unique kind of food and how much food and how good it is, and also an easy reservation to get for the most part. Everything at Animal Kingdom Lodge is delicious. That's my point. Go there.
And it's just a cool place to go.
Mm-hmm.
As I hadn't been in the gift shop while we were there, and it was humongous.
Mm-hmm. The one at Jumbo House.
Yeah. I was just really impressed with how big it was and how much stuff there. I don't know comparatively sizes of gift shops around all the resorts, but this has to be like top, close to, if not the top one for how large it is, right?
And it has all the standard stuff, and then it also has just some really beautiful, unique stuff there. Yeah, it's a nice big one. Trying to remember, did we go from Animal Kingdom Park? The bus brought us first to Kidani Village, right?
Yes, we got off
right
first.
there. So the Animal Kingdom Lodge is the two parts. There's Kidani Village, which is the DVC side, and that's where Sanaa is, and then Jumbo House. And when you stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge, wherever you stay, you can go to both parts, use the pools in both parts. You have all of it. And it's walking distance. It's like probably a 10-minute walk between the two lobbies of the two parts. So we took the bus straight. The first drop off was Kidani. That's where we were eating at Sanaa. We went there. There is a shop there at Kidani Village, but it's smaller.
Mm-hmm.
But there is some stuff there. And then after our lunch, we went over to Jumbo House, and that's where the big shop was. Where they had a lot of the Christmas displays. They had the gingerbread. I mean, it was basically like a baked giraffe and baby zebra, and I want to say there were other animals too, but
those are the two that I specifically remember.
More and more there are these giant like Christmas displays that the culinary team, or what are they called? The people who do the baking.
Their culinary team sounds great to me.
Part of the culinary team, but I'm looking for a different word.
Baker?
But it was very cool, and that lobby's so impressive and beautiful. The Kidani lobby's pretty too, but the Jumbo House lobby is like...
Kidani's much smaller comparatively. Like it just feels quaint. I had never been over to the other spot until we walked over, like, because I've only been to Sanaa and walked around. So that's what I thought. And then we went to it was Jumbo House, right?
Jumbo's the big one.
Yeah. And it was so big comparatively. I'm like, wow, there's all this too.
And there's a huge like floor to ceiling, and like by ceiling, I mean 20 plus foot tall, like huge wall of windows out to the savannas with like beautiful detail in the windows, like the wrought iron or whatever the detail is. I have a million pictures of that lobby. Just, it is stunning. And the tree in that lobby is really beautiful too. It feels very like a nice, like parallel to Wilderness Lodge in a way. Mm-hmm. Just like the very high ceilings, the beautiful tree. And now they have the cool animals that have been baked like in the vein of the gingerbread house, kind of that kind of thing. It's a destination for sure.
Yeah.
And really good food. So if you need another spot on your Christmas.
And just FYI, they don't let you just drive to that resort. You can't just like visit it. You have to have a dining reservation. I think you could easily go if you left from Animal Kingdom and just jumped on the bus to go over and check it out. But if you're like just killing time and have a car rented, you're not going to be able to just like drive through the front gate and look around. If you want to just go look, take
a bus from another
a bus. Yeah, from a theme park and head there.
Now, we did take a lift home back to our resort, Coronado. I had to think for and travel.
We would have had to take the bus to somewhere like one of the parks or Disney Springs to transfer to our bus. So it seemed much easier to just.
We had no problem getting picked up. Like rideshare was able to come get us with no problem after lunch. But
yeah, I want that breeze in my belly. I just want to go back and relax.
Do you want to talk about some of the other things that we didn't eat on the menu? You want me to real quick?
Yeah.
The regrets.
Yeah. So many good choices.
I feel there's also a breakfast there.
Oh, right. Talk about that because it's set up a little differently because lunch and dinner, classic table service, what we just talked about, but breakfast runs a little differently.
Yeah, it says no reservations are required to begin the day's adventure with a Sanaa Kumasha breakfast. And serve 7:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. for breakfast. Sanaa transforms into a casual, quick service restaurant with a menu designed to help you rise and shine. Sink your teeth into a carnivorous meal of house-made. Oh, you should be reading this. I don't know what a Boer Wars sausage is. Why is it always a sausage?
There are so many sausages. This one is not twisty on a stick.
Twisty in their sausages. Bacon, eggs, and African home fries. What makes them African?
I don't know. I would just guess the seasoning.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So you can grab and go kind of everything, but it has stuff where I think like you would see for a sit down breakfast, because when you go to their actual menu, like you can get eggs Benedict, scrambled hash, the sausage breakfast, banana brulee, French toast.
Yum.
So like they have a ton of stuff that's like grab and go, but it just seems more than like if you go to Pop and you have like your normal platter of eggs and barrels.
They do have Mickey waffles on the kids' side.
Gotta have Mickey waffles.
Gotta have Mickey waffles. It's so
they
important.
have Mickey waffles. I would say, where are we?
Right. It's really important. That banana brulee French toast comes with a banana caramel sauce. I feel like...
Oh, I bet it's
kind
of what we had with the dessert.
That's related to the dessert for sure. But it's nice because for folks staying at Kidani, if you're not doing groceries in your room, you're kind of limited. You have to go over to Jumbo House to get quick service at that time. There's a little quick service option in by the pool at Kidani, but that's for later in the day. So it was nice when they added this. This is like in the last couple of years, they've added this option at breakfast time. It's really handy if you're staying at Kidani, which I love my stay there. I'm waiting for them to reno those rooms to get the Murphy bed as my kids get bigger. I need the Murphy bed for them. But I would go back to Kidani Village in a heartbeat. I adore being Savannah View, and you can sit out on that balcony and watch the animals all day long. When it rains, you can still sit out there and watch them on the Savannah. They don't care about rain. They're animals. So if you don't want to be in the parks, you can just sit on your balcony. I love it. Animal Kingdom Lodge has my heart. I want to go back there soon.
I think I need to go and explore a little bit. Because, so we saw Sanaa, we walked through a parking lot to get to Jumbo House, which was great. But I feel like there has to be, like, the interior, the nicer parts, where, like, you're going to the pool and seeing all that stuff. Like, I haven't seen that part. So, like, to me, it's just, like, this long walk through a parking lot. And I'm like...
There is a lot of walking there. And there's no way around it. Like, yeah. There is a lot of walking. You need to go through the lobby, like that giant glass wall. When you walk in the lobby and you're facing that giant glass wall, the other side of that, I think, is the thing that you need to see, because that's where you go out onto the Savannah. There are all these little overlook spots where they have rocking chairs, and there are cast members out there. that will talk to you about the animals, and they just like know everything about the animals. And there's a pool is over there, and the quick service. There's a really good arcade at Jumbo House.
Really?
And
Yeah. I need to go check all this stuff out.
it's one of the resorts that has DVC activity room. I can't remember what they're called. I do this every time I come on here and my brain goes blank. But with like the crafts, and there's movies in there, but my kids really liked that's like my kids did ceramics in there, and there's a lot to do at this resort. It is a great non-park resort option. If you want to do like very little to no park time, so much to do, especially if you add some of those tours that Jenny was talking about. Starlight Safari goes out of the lodge. There's some of the African safari like type tours. The one you talked about, eating on the savannah, where the Kilimanjaro safaris goes, that you have to have a park ticket. But the Starlight Safari is at the resort, and you don't need a park ticket for that. You don't even have to be staying at the lodge. You can come over and have dinner and do the safari, the Starlight Safari, if you're staying somewhere else. But I don't know, so much to do. And there are lounges at this resort that are really beautiful and have some cool, like, unique drink options.
There seemed like there was a neat bar. So, like, where we were on the first floor, I said I needed to use the bathroom before we left. And you went down, like, 2, like, flights. But, like, in between, there wasn't, like, another spot. It looked like there was, like, a bar area.
Yeah, that's
That
an
looked
overlook. Is that the Victoria Falls Lounge?
I know whatever it was, it calls my name for some future
Victoria
date.
Falls Lounge.
Yeah, that looked amazing and so much fun. Like, if I could see staying there and being like hanging out in that lobby, going to that cool thing, it just was in such a neat spot.
And so much beautiful, like, African art. And I just like the sounds of the place. It's nice.
Well, I did take you off topic. You were going to tell us about some of the other food.
Lunch and dinner, things that we did not have. Bread service always. And the problem with that is I have never really even looked at the other appetizers that were an option, but they have samosas that are plant-based. So it's potato and pea. So that's cool if you need a plant-based option. They have a seasonal salad, so that rotates all the time, right? There's a lamb kefta appetizer with that. Also looks like it comes with some different, like a chutney and chili oil, and seasonal soup. The soup at Boma is fantastic, so I bet the soup at Sanaa. I like a good, like, root vegetable soup. And then there's a vegetable chicken curry for entrees. There's a Zanzibari vegetable chicken curry. There's a Zanzibari vegetable curry. There are grilled lamb chops with coconut black rice. That's fun.
I saw there was a New York strip steak, and I was like, that'd probably be what my dad picked.
Mm-hmm. And the fun thing they do with that is the side, like, you get an African pepper relish, a papadou silk. It's a little different, right? So it's still a steak, but it's got the seasonings and the flavors that that kind of East African Indian influence, like, flavors, which I think is really nice. A shrimp curry and a samaki. This is a fish. There's a sustainable fish with charred corn relish, peri-peri, chickpea crisp, spring greens. Just nice. And the price point, our entrees that we all got were about $35. All the entrees are within that range of, like, $25 to $35, $40.
And the good stuff is priced pretty well. Like, they have 3 appetizers, so they could get a salad, a tomato soup, or carrot and celery sticks, and they're all about $3.25, which is really nice.
Yeah.
And then for their entrees, they have fish of the day, cheese pizza, butter chicken, or grilled cheese, and that's anywhere from $10.50 to $14.50.
Mm-hmm.
So for kids stuff, I do think that's, like, really reasonable. And you get, like, is it 2 sides, I think? And so they have, like, what is Timon grubs? That would be
cute.
Yeah. And they have mac and cheese and rice and a fruit cup and seasonal vegetables. I don't know what the grubs are now.
I know, I do too now.
I had just read that. I was like, grubs.
That's got to be something fun.
Right. It has to be something fun for the kids.
Bugs. I want it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think all in, the price point is really reasonable for kind of the unique flavors you get, and the portions were really generous. I am going to get my husband to go with me sometime and share a couple different entrees, because that's my favorite thing, is making him share with me so I can try double the things.
I love that idea.
And the kids, I don't know if they have it anymore. I was scrolling through, but on the kids' desserts, in the past when we were there, they had a like paint your own cookie kid dessert thing, but I'm struggling with looking at their menu. But go here, A+. I endorse it. Try it out. Try something, and don't be intimidated by the menu. Like it's actually pretty approachable food. And I know when I talked to the cast member about like when I was picking which side I wanted, I talked to him a little bit about, can you tell me about this one? Can you tell me about this one? Just to help me narrow down. And he did a good job. And he was pretty new. He told us he had just started there not long before. But when I was like, I don't like cilantro, coriander, how do I avoid that? Like, he was really helpful. So, and butter chicken is always good. So the beef is delicious. I don't remember how it was seasoned exactly. It was really good.
Yeah, it was so good. And it was like it melted in your mouth.
Very tender. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah.
All right.
I think eating this kind of food at Disney is like the best way to try something new and try something different, because it's going to be well done. Like, you know, nicely done. I'm not talking about well done beef, but if that's your thing. But it's going to be nicely made, and they're extremely kind and knowledgeable. So you can talk to them about the menu. They're not going to be like hoity-toity. They're going to like make you comfortable. And it's just a nice way to try something different. It's like a pretty safe. Yeah. Try it out. Try it. You'll like it.
Go. Jenny, go.
I will eat
It's your
all of
turn.
the bread services
It's so
at
good.
every place. Anyway,
Delicious.
All right. Well, I think that's it for Sanaa. And we took a little tour of Animal Kingdom Lodge in general. So,
And those things go together. That's the way to do it. Make it a destination. Visit a new resort, because you might want to stay there next time.
now that you talk to me about it, I'm like, oh, I kind of want to go there. So,
Beautiful.
my first deluxe is going to be Boardwalk. I'm excited.
Countdown's on.
Oh, okay. All right. Take us away, Jess.
Thanks for hanging out with us. I don't know what we're talking about next week, so I'm not even going to tell you. So you better just show up, because we'll be here. So come hang out with us before Jenny goes to Japan.
and
Also, make sure you're following social media, because you don't want to miss content from Jenny's trip. We're going to be sharing all the things. Follow us on the socials, and go to the website, mouseearsandmagicalchats.com. And if you're going to Disney soon, let us know if you want to come be a guest and talk about what you're eating, and share that with all of us. I don't know how to do words anymore. I'm going to go to bed now. Bye, guys.
bye.
Bye.